5-2 Sens victory.
It just feels like that kind of a night.
There is going to be some money
on
on the board, though, in the Sens dressing room, considering how many former Leafs are on this Sens team, including the head coach.
11 guys who played opening night for the Leafs are gone. 4 of them are back in the building tonight as members of the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah.
Ennis, Connor Brown, Zaitsev, Hainsey. Crazy.
And the head coach.
DJ Smith, yes, great point. 5 people, technically.
Sens finished dead last a year ago. And while there's a lot of drama out of the room, is there any expectation that they'll be better this year?
Here's
like,
how
I'm scared. Honestly, I know I'm asking a question and I'm answering my own question, but I'm scared of what this season could be for the Ottawa Senators.
I was more scared that first overall pick potentially could go to Colorado, which it didn't. They ended up 4th. To me, a good year in Ottawa, it's almost irrelevant what goes on because they're going to keep that first rounder now. There can't be any noise off the ice like that. That has to end, man.
Right, just get some stability.
Look, man, Thomas Chabot signing is good. Logan Brown, good. Sorry, Colin White, good. Not Logan Brown. Colin White, good. Keep it at that stuff. Get better. Play hockey. Keep Eugene out of the news.
Right.
Manage up if you're Pierre Dorian. Try to. That, to me, would be a good year in Ottawa. Focus on the kids. There's going to be a ton of losses. But you know what? There might be a top 2 pick out of it. So maybe it's not a complete disaster.
Can you have stability when you're, like, is 64, like, you had talent on the team last year and you ended up with 64 points. Now, you traded most of it away.
Right.
But there were guys that were there that could put the puck in the net. Like, I'm scared what this could be for the Ottawa Senators. But lo and behold, I could see the 5-2 victory tonight.
Well, you never know, right? That's why
there's got to be a lot of inspired guys. Like, for me, should Sens fans be happy that Scott Sabourin made this team? And I've talked a lot about Scott Sabourin and how he made his way to this franchise and the viral clip of him having Matthews look at the back of his jersey. Right. Before we get into any of that, the fact that a guy who has never played an NHL game made this team when a GM was telling you how many young guys they had in the system that were going to make this team, like Alex Fermenton, right? Jake Batherson, can look at him and say, okay, that's on the team. There's other guys on this team where you thought, okay, they're going to make this hard. Abramov, you could add to that mix, right?
Abramov had a good camp, just got a cut late.
Right? Logan Brown's back down, as you mentioned.
That's why Logan Brown was on the Brad, forgive me.
Your boy Logan Brown, a lot of people wanted him to make this team this year. He didn't do much in the preseason.
No.
Right? So there's Fermenton and Brown were 2 guys that they wanted to make this team. And they didn't. And now Scott Sabourin's on this team, chewing up space, but we know why he's on this team. Is that a bad sign for Senators fans that someone like that could make that decision easy for DJ Smith and Pierre Dorian?
I don't know if it's a bad sign, Tim. I think it's though a sign of, look, if we're going to be bad this year, if we're going to lose some games this year, we're going to make some people feel us.
Correct.
Quote unquote. And there is no question in my mind, the second the Matthews stuff happened, and that wasn't the only thing that happened in that game, obviously.
No.
But that viral clip of Matthews looking at who are you, DJ Smith is behind the bench against his old team looking at that going, I like that. This guy wants to be here.
Right.
He knows full well he's not the most talented guy in this room. But that's not the point. The point is, how badly do you want it? Now, Scott Sabourin could find his way down in 2 weeks. Let's be honest here.
Yep.
This is not a guy we expect to play 70 games for the Ottawa Senators.
But the fact that he took a roster spot from guys that you thought could be on this team or that you need to develop to be on this team is more troubling to me than the guy that's going to try hard.
But I don't think it's troubling because Pierre Dorian's message and DJ Smith's message before camp was we are going to have competition here. Mm-hmm. From a skill level, that's irrelevant to us. If guys are going to want it more than the other dude, at some point, the guy who wants it more is going to get rewarded.
Okay.
And I think more of a message is being sent to some of these younger kids than some grand statement about Scott Sabourin, who's not going to be in the league by the All-Star break.
4 preseason games, 9 minutes of ice time in those games, 0 points on 3 shots.
And who trended more this preseason for the Ottawa Senators than Scott Sabourin? I hear you.
Yeah, but
but they're coming at it from different angles.
It's not the way you It's not the way you run a franchise. I know why he's there. I understand what you're saying. And if I'm a Sens fan, I say, hey, I'd rather have a guy who might end up on this team at the All-Star break. But you're right. It might become semantics. This guy plays 2 games and never seen from again.
I think this is a lot of message sending.
Or
that's what I think this is.
He works his ass off and becomes something. But let's remember, he had more AHL fights than he had AHL goals.
Correct.
Right?
So he's not in for the long term.
And if he is long term, I wonder if we look back at this moment and say this is when the arms race started in this division. This is when the rest of if something goes on tonight with him, which I'm guaranteeing you he's going to try because that's why he's in the lineup. If the Leafs next time don't dress someone, this was the first game, and the looking at the jersey never appears in a vacuum, though everyone seemed to think it was, and that's why it went viral. But he slew-footed Morgan Riley. He drilled Andreas Janssen. Then he beat up Harper, who came over to try and protect Andreas Janssen. And I want to cheer for Scott Sabb, 27-year-old who has never played an NHL game before. I want it to be the story of perseverance, of battling, but there's a bunch of guys who do that, right? Like there's a bunch of skill guys in the AHL who show the same amount of perseverance and battle and won't get a game in the NHL.
Correct. But I think he's a lucky victim of circumstance here in terms of time and place.
Right.
He was in a good time and a good place with a new head coach looking to make a point.
Right.
And I think he's going to make one tonight.
The Sens are the perfect storm for a player like Scott Sabourin.
31 other teams, this does not happen. I think this happens with the Sens.